Welcome everyone to Sneaky Gorilla Channel. Sneaksy here talking tonight, and we're going to talk a little bit about making credits again, an alternate method or a bonus method compared to my earlier video. If you remember, we talked about trading. Some servers are not geared for very good trading. I had it pointed out to me, and I've experienced it myself as well, where things are all the same price throughout the universe or very little variance. Well, it's hard to follow my earlier video if you want to make some serious credits. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. What can you do in that situation? Well, first thing I encourage is when you get on a server to kind of determine its personality. You think of mining, you think of trading, and you think of attacking pirates, getting materials that way. Some servers might spew a lot out of pirates. You might be able to make some credits that way. But we're going to talk primarily about the mining way. So let's say you got bad trading or a server that doesn't do much trading. Then, of course, you're going to want a pretty decent mining ship. This is my mining ship here. It can take out asteroids pretty quickly. So I went and got some asteroids so I don't waste your time, some material. And then we'll go back to our factories here. And what you're going to want to do then is look at it this way. You want to try to take materials that are super plentiful and convert them into more valuable commodities. For example, if you just go and sell dirt or lava or even these materials down in my bar here, like Sugal, Cinnabar, you're not going to get a lot of money for those like that, but you're going to have tons of that material if you go out mining. So what can you do to make some credits? Now this applies to anything in these factories that you can convert lower materials into more expensive materials, and then you can sell them at stations. So I'm just going to give you a few examples here. So in my home base, it has pretty good mining multiplier. So I get a lot of this stuff like Cinnabar, Sugal. So I'm going to go to this is my capsule refinery, and I'm going to put this material in here. All real plentiful materials. I'm also going to throw some of my other minerals here, and you'll see why in a moment. This is what I'll be making, that I'll be showing you. This stuff is usually pretty useless. You could sell it, but I'm to a point I'm not much interested, so I usually just keep that clean. So we got all this material here. These are standard rocks from asteroids, and we have our minerals here. So I'm just going to activate production. And I have quite a few enhancers, so this will go pretty quickly here. As you see, what this does is it converts our materials into more valuable things, capsules, and also into alloyed metal mesh and crystal composite. So let's just give this a moment here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making these carved products. And also we're going to be making some metal mesh and some crystal composite as well. And then we'll make some valuable things out of that. So while this isn't done, my shtick is to not waste your time. So I'm just going to grab these capsules and not waste your time here. Let's just grab this stuff. We won't finish it. It wouldn't take long, but let's get to the point, right? Okay, so now we have these capsules. I'm also going to go over here, and at this point I'm going to convert any of these extra capsules like Fertikene. You'll see in a moment some of these capsules here. I'm going to turn that into these products. Now some of them won't let you do that, like Cinnabar, Lucra, Tect, and Sugal. They won't convert to this, and you don't want them to at this point anyway, and you'll see why here. So we're going to just give this a moment and make a bunch of this. So when we get this, we're going to convert this into power modules, and we're going to convert these into carved products. So we're not going to waste your time. Let's just grab this. Okay. So we've converted our materials that are plentiful in these two modules here, in these two factories. And the one we're going to use now is the basic factory. So I'm going to hit R on that. And now you can look, I kind of have these memorized, but I'll show you here in a minute. As you can see, I make a lot of this stuff. This is my carved materials. I got carved Cinnabar, Sugal, Varus, Tect, Lucra, Shabazz, Larimar, and Dolom. These are all carved. They're worth more than when they're just like this. So now so I have Sugal here. I'm gonna change production and go down. All the carved stuff is just down in the C's. So I can pick most of these here. I was gonna do Sugal, so I'll choose that, and we'll activate production here. And now you'll see this will convert these capsules into carved Sugal. So it isn't just the plain old Sugal like you get in the Asteroid. Now it becomes carved Sugal. So let's get some of those. Now you'll see where I'm going with this. Then we can take Tect, and we're going to change that to carved Tect. See, these are a little more valuable, and so let's convert this. And you can experiment with some of this. You know, who knows? Maybe there's certain servers where the capsules are more valuable. I don't know. Check your prices, but this has worked really well for the server I'm on, and it's a nice principle to learn. Even if you do other things, if you create other higher level things, sometimes things are more difficult. A lot of times to create, they take a lot of materials. You get very little out of them. You watch out for things like missile tubes. Some higher items like that. You can use a lot of materials. Shields are tricky. If you know where there's a lot of Rammet rocks, you can turn into shields, but they're tough. They take a lot of materials. But these are real plentiful. Now the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to throw in, and you don't need these in here anymore. It doesn't matter if you leave them. But so now these two are very plentiful, and I'm going to change production, and I'm going to make some power here. So we'll go down to P. And we're looking for either one of them first. So I'm going to hit that first, activate. So what you're basically doing, you're taking a very, very plentiful materials, just the stones and asteroids. You're bringing them back to your factories, and you're converting those plentiful stones into more valuable commodities. Energy items like this, you can sell them all over the place a lot of times, and many times up to 50,000 just about a piece at stations. And so I'll show you what I'm going at with this. Now I'm going to just stop this so I don't waste your time. We'll go over to Alloyed Metal Mesh here, and we'll just switch this to over to Power Reactor and do a few of those. So now it's making these into this. So I came back, minerals are a little more valuable, but I still like doing this because these are good for you. You can use these like crazy, and they're good to sell all over the place, and so they're very valuable. For example, my factories here with the enhancers over here, they take a lot of energy to run these factories, so you can use that energy a lot of times. So what I've done now, in kind of in summary, we'll wrap it up here. I've gone out with this big miner and mined some asteroids and gotten a bunch of just plain old asteroid rocks and minerals. Come back, turn them into capsules, throw the capsules in here and the minerals in here, turn it into alloyed metal mesh, crystal composite, and then over here we turn our materials, the plain materials that won't convert into alloyed metal mesh and crystal composite. They can be used. Those capsules can be used to turn into this carved material. So I've carved Cinnabar, Sugal, Varus, Tect, Lucra, Shabazz, Lemur, and Dolom. Now we can go to, when you get enough of this, then I recommend to do, and you get enough of these, like I have 1.8 million of these, and 1.9 million of these. Now I do need most of those, but what I can do at this point now is take a scout. You're going to want a scout ship like this, something that has a very fast jump drive, that has maybe some speed effects so you can really get around. And now you're loaded up with all this valuable stuff, and this, and these, and you're going to jump in your scout and just head out and go to stations and visit stations, especially if you stick near main Sol. A lot of these areas around here, they'll have quite a bit of money many times. You go to those stations and sell out all your materials, and sell a bunch of these until you feel comfortable. You don't want to sell anymore, and you'll start to make a lot of credits. I just started here recently with 20 million credits. I got 60 million already, but this is a lot of money worth of stuff I could sell out right now if I wanted to go.